Hello everyone. Welcome to the WonderCon at Home Robotech panel. My name is Kevin McKeever, and I'm Vice President of Marketing for the Robotech franchise. Today, our panel will focus on the following topics. Updating everyone on current Robotech merchandise from all our active licenses. An interview with Matt from GPC Games about the Robotech video game that has dropped on Nintendo Switch. An interview with Eric of Udon Entertainment about the new Robotech Art Books. And a preview of our marketing plans for spring of 2021. Let's begin our discussion with Robotech card games. Solar Flare Games has created a Robotech Masters themed card game called Robotech Crisis Point that is now shipping. Solar Flare will follow this up with a new generation game called Robotech Invasion. We also have a new line of board games from our friends at Strange Machine Games, starting with Robotech Ace Pilot, followed by Robotech Attack on the SDF-1, and there are two other games, Robotech Brace for Impact and Robotech Cyclone Run. Both of these games are now shipping at JapanAnimeGames.com. And we are pleased to announce a new tabletop game, Robotech Reconstruction, that will be released by Strange Machine Games in late 2021. And for you RPG fans out there, Strange Machine Games has released a new role-playing game for the Macross Saga. This game is a brand new take on the Robotech universe. It takes a deeper dive into the characters and settings, and it is packed with brand new artwork. You can order the game today from Robotech.com. Since we are on the subject of new Robotech games, I want to open up our discussion to my colleague Tommy Yoon, where he will talk about the developments on the Robotech video game front. Tommy, take it away.
Hello, Matt. This is Tommy from Harmony Gold. Glad to see you join us. And for all the fans coming to and finding out about this for the first time at WonderCon, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, yeah, it's great to be here. I'm Matt Saya. I'm the creative director on Robotech, the HD edition, and I also was creative director on the original GBA version of the game. So it's kind of a neat thing.
Tell us, were you a Robotech fan from the start, or did you find out about it from working on the game?
I was a huge Robotech fan from the very beginning. I grew up with it. I watched it many times, and had all the toys, and just basically was a massive fan for a very long time. I just loved it. That told this kind of amazing story, and that was just something you didn't see when you were a kid. Everything was kind of just one-off episodes, and Robotech had people dying, and Max and Miria, and it was an awesome story.
So, how did you first get into the game industry working at Lucky Chicken on this?
Yeah, basically, Lucky Chicken was my company. Actually, I worked with had a couple business partners, and we put together Lucky Chicken. And then when Robotech came up as an opportunity, I mean, being such a huge fan, we absolutely wanted to get into it. And everybody on the team actually was a big fan too. The guy who coded it, the original GBA version, the artists were all just huge fans. So it was like this kind of treat to be involved with Robotech and get to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have such good memories of the game being released from TDK for the GBA back then. So what was it like having this opportunity to work on this again?
That was awesome. It was awesome to get to go back and kind of bring it to a new generation and change, keep everything the same, but also change everything. It was also it was a lot of the fun, getting to kind of more fully realize some parts of it,
So what was the biggest challenge of building the Switch version of the game?
I think the biggest challenge was keeping everything. We had to rebuild everything, so that, everything is new at the same time. All the art is new, and getting the code to run and be the same way that it was, and getting all the attack patterns for all the enemies and the bosses and everything to work just right was actually one of the hugest challenges. We had to go dig back into things we hadn't looked at in over a decade, and figure out like, well, how did that work, and then make sure that everything, we compared it to the old version of the game, and just make sure everything worked together, really well.
Yeah, so to go from 320 by 240 to this 720p screen, I mean, basically how many pixels are left from the original version?
None. Yeah, everything got changed. I think one of the biggest things we did is all the art got changed. The models are actually 3D now. They're not even sprites anymore. So we get the cool ability to like rotate them and use lighting effects on them. The backgrounds were all redone. Certainly we used all the original stuff for inspiration. I mean, the levels are the same levels, but everything was new. All the mechs and everything, everything that we did there was all from scratch. You can even see that we used to kind of a super deformed art style. Now it actually is more just normal, like the proportions of the player vehicles and stuff like that are all not that anymore. So
let's see, what aspect of the production are you the most proud of on this?
Geez, I think we just talked about the art a lot, but I think it really was the art, getting to go through and really retouch all of that stuff, getting all the character portraits right from the series, being able to redo the music. We love the old MIDI stuff. It was Robert Cassidy did it, and it was an awesome translation, but it was great to be using the full tracks and just we're kind of remaking everything and making it just shine, and making it as Robotech as possible. That's something to say.
It was fun to run into Jamie Audley a few game developer conferences back before the pandemic, when it was still possible to
still meet people
attend game developer conference. But I mean, what's it feel like hearing the rumblings of the fan now that this stealth drop has happened?
I think it feels great. I mean, again, it was kind of a surprise, and I think that people like surprises, and I think it's great to get Robotech back out there in a video game format. Especially with all the new art and everything. I think it's exciting. It's really, really exciting to see people, kind of pop up out of nowhere and be like, we didn't know this was happening. This is amazing. Or, who knew, this is cool. So yeah, it was definitely, we're just excited to bring Robotech back to fans. Again, as a fan myself, I think that the more Robotech we can have, the better.
So is there anything you want to say to the fans who are going nuts about this news?
Oh, geez, we really hope you enjoy it. We put a lot of work into it. It was meticulous. Like you said, we're fans ourselves, so we hope you have as much fun as we did, with it. Really, it's just, we hope to see you with more Robotech in the future, basically,
Mm-hmm. What do you know about the release schedule for the territories that it's going to be available in?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, we're out almost everywhere right now, so it should be pretty widespread. You should be able to get it almost everywhere. Right now, we're out in Europe, we're out in the States. We're out, pretty much almost worldwide. So, if it hasn't come out yet where you're at, hopefully we'll soon. I know we have a couple territories that are still being activated and stuff like that. So, should be everywhere soon. We're super excited just to have it out.
Okay, I'm totally looking forward to getting this for myself.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it'll be fun to like download it and play it just to, and say, hey, there it is. It's out and it's awesome.
Is there anything else you want to add besides the earlier talking points?
I think just, that like I said, that everybody, we hope everyone has a good time. It really was a labor of love. The people that worked on it again were all Robotech fans again. So this all comes from a place of fandom for Robotech. And I think that, to me, that makes it something special, when we're sitting there stressing over the music, or, stressing over the foot of a Zentradi battle pod, which I can tell you that did happen many times. And just making sure everything looked right, that everything was as spot on as we could make it. I think that hopefully that shines through, and that everybody enjoys that part of the game. Really being immersed in that universe for us. That like I said, I grew up there, so it's great to come back to it.
Thank you, Tommy. Now I want to update you all on the Robotech Art Books being produced by our friends at Udon. The first art book, focused exclusively on the Macross saga, has been a smashing success. Fans have enjoyed the new detailed episode guides, character and mecha designs. But fans want to know what is next. So our friend Eric at Udon Studios sat down with Tommy to talk about the next step in the art book series. Gentlemen, take it away.
Hello, and I'm glad to have Eric and Matt with me from Udon, all the way from Canada. So this is really a international virtual gathering. So, gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, so I'm Eric Ko. I'm the Chief of Operations at Udon. I do everything other people doesn't do. And, pretty much I'm very glad to be involved in Robotech from many years ago, when Udon, started off as a art studio that we do artwork for different companies. And one of our earlier projects is working with Tommy here at Wildstorm, creating the Robotech comics that Wildstorm published. And we did the first series, and then, the Love is War, and also the Mosquito series, and also we did the Shadow Chronicles. So basically, I think we did all the Wildstorm comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so all of the Wildstorm
fantastic
comics.
job.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Matt Moylan. I'm Director of Publishing at Udon. I oversee most of our publishing projects. Sometimes Eric will take a few that he wants to shepherd himself, because he'll really like a project or two. I mostly run things day to day, managing artists and graphic designers and translators and writers and all kinds of people. And I've been at Udon about 15 years now, so probably a little bit after you guys did the Robotech stuff.
Yeah, pretty much, I think. Yeah.
So I actually got here with me the first printing of one of the projects that really made fans very happy, which was the Visual Archive. Thank you very much for your hard work on this. This is absolutely amazing. Finally I can put the Robotech Art one back into the library, because this
new book to destroy.
So much more detail.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of work doing the scanning and cleaning up stuff. Yeah, and that's the second book, Robotech Visual Archive, the Southern Cross. We didn't have exactly the same. We wanted to match an image to the original, which is an old school actual Macross artwork, but we didn't have something that was quite as detailed, like with the inner schematics and stuff. So we had Alex Milne, who is a well-known Transformers comic artist. He illustrated the cover for the Southern Cross book and the upcoming Mosquito book too.
I thought those pieces that he did look awesome. Fantastic work from Alex. Yeah,
we used for both of them. We found there was a few drawings of maybe a few internal schematics, and for this one we used the Spartus mech, and there's a few drawings of most of the innards, but he had to interpret a few things just to add it all together. But so it turned out really nice.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how well that book came together, in light of the fact that early on there was concern, was there enough Southern Cross material?
Yeah, we were thinking of, should we do Southern Cross and Mosquito? We'll just do 2 in 1 because there's not as much stuff, but there's just tons of stuff for both of them.
Yeah, I think this is like probably one of the times that we got to find and dig into your archive to find all these missing things that had never been published before, and we just decided to, you know, pour it all in, and I think that's something that, as a fan myself of Southern Cross, you know, I've never seen this many material out there that is available for the public to admire. I remember, like, we have these old books when I was a kid, watching, you know, like Macross and Mospedia and Southern Cross, and the only art book that's out there is that this is an animation art book for Southern Cross. That's it. And then that book actually doesn't have a lot of real art in it. They have some comics in it, which sadly we cannot, you know, get the rights to reproduce in this one. But the design materials, all those kind of things are not in that book. In fact, I was like looking at that book. I was like, where are all these other design stuff? You know, because I bought most of those model kits from Southern Cross, and they have all these different armors for all these different factions of the, you know, of the military, and it's like all these armor designs. I want to see them. I want to see these design sheets of them, and I'm so glad and I'm so excited when we started gathering the materials and you started sending things over and we started digging into things and we got to see those design sheets. We got to see all these other things, you know, that we can actually put in the book. And I can recall, you know, it's like, this is that armor that I really like, you know, that you know, with the desert guy, and then also, you know, with the marine guy, and with the deep sea armor, you know, and all those kind of things. Is like, this is really cool stuff that honestly it shows up in the show for like what, a couple seconds in the background type of thing, but then they meticulously actually design like every single detail on every single different variations, and it's really cool to see up close, you know, those details after all these years, and you know, like looking at the model kit, which is at that time it's not like as intricate and as like model kits nowadays, right? So they also simplify stuff, and the proportions kind of a little weird, and actually seeing the design sheets nowadays when I grow up, it's amazing. It's, you know, all the memories bringing back when I was a kid. It was like, oh, this is so cool.
You know, what was interesting is you mentioned about all the model sheets where we could find details of stuff that had never been published before. What was interesting was there were so many different versions of the model sheets. Some were second generation copies on, you know, modern photocopiers, and they actually turned out to be pretty good. They held up well with age, but the ones that were really, really didn't age well were the originals that came to us from Tatsunoko. This was before my time. This was back in the 80s. And it looked like the photocopier that they had was actually using some type of thermal paper. So it was like that glossy sheen paper, and the paper had yellowed very much on the page. And some of them,
we're actually working on another project.
Yeah.
Top secret, not announced yet.
Yeah.
And we are digging through the Tatsunoko archive as well right now. People who know me would probably have guessed what their project is, because I'm like a big fan of that, and we have been involved in that property before. And I really, really want to do something about it. But apparently most of the old school Japanese animation studio, when they're doing copies and stuff, they use the thermal copy, and that's the archive that they have. So when they started digging through the archive and rescan everything, all those things are basically yellowed out and faded because of the material that they use to archive stuff. And sadly, they don't have any better copies, because they only have like 1 or 2 copies and it's all yellowed out. We got to resort to, recently, you know, I found out that there are these fans who actually got archived copies, or there are these, you know, like almost like doujinshi type gray market people that actually took photocopies of the first generation of these blueprints, and they started selling it in the gray market. And then we got a couple of those, and
I got a stack of them right here. These are Eric's
yeah.
copies, I think. So
Yeah.
a whole stack of model sheets. These are mosquito ones. So they all look like stuff like this, all kinds of ships.
Yeah.
And, pull it back. Ships, and we got
So I started looking into those as as material archives that we can use and we can scan back, so that we can have like better copies of of these animation design sheets. So it's interesting, nonetheless.
Yeah, and it was a bunch of disparate sources that we had to pull together. Like we found that some of the model sheet packs were missing. We don't know, what history that they went through from the 80s until now. But what helped us put together was one of our role-playing game licenses, which was Palladium Books. When they were republishing some of their old role-playing games, they had actually been working from the original model sheets. And so, I do have to thank Kevin Sambita that he did help track down some missing model sheet pieces here and there. And then there were others, which was funny enough, like the ones you showed me about from Mospita. Some of the model sheets were actually mixed in with the pre-production for Robotech the Sentinels. And so that was actually kind of fun because, digging up model sheets of the work that went into the Sentinels, that was a really interesting kind of kit bash of Mospita and Southern Cross being mixed together.
It was fun as the book went along because there's a lot of things where you guys kept finding things, or I kept finding something, and like here we found 3 more views of this little spaceship that showed up in a couple scenes. Okay, we'll squeeze them in.
That was actually one challenge right there was some characters were redrawn for Robotech the Sentinels, and we had to kind of look at it with a critical eye. Wait, was this one of the original drawings for Mospita itself, or did somebody redraw it for Sentinels? And I appreciate that we were being academics here, trying to make sure that this was a good representation of the pre-production that went into Mospita and the new generation only.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in all 3 books really, but in the 2 upcoming new ones, like for Southern Cross, the early pre-production work is great because it's so different from what they ended up with. It was a really more specific like samurai mecha theme, and you can see some of that ended up in the final designs of all the personal armors, but it was really like samurai with a lot of little shield patches and stuff. But so that stuff's really cool. I really like the designs for the Ajax toy that was never produced.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's something that's never been published before, right?
Yeah, in fact, what was interesting was that was another thing that was missing from the model sheets, and lo and behold, we actually found that in historical files with Matchbox. It somehow got mixed in there, and it was something that was proposed for Matchbox to build, but I guess it was nixed because it was too complicated. Because there were a lot of Robotech toys built by Matchbox back then, which was too complicated to build as is. So that was definitely one that fell by the wayside.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Then in the Mospita book, there's all kinds of stuff. That one's much closer to the final. The pre-production drawings are much closer to the final product. So it's kind of interesting to see like really where it almost could have gone. There's things like the Cyclone bike that the tires kind of split in 2 and become like it's like a hovercraft kind of a thing. Or when the Cyclone was a total hover bike, didn't have any wheels at all, was one of the ideas. So all that stuff is great. I just seeing all these unused. There's lots of unused mechs that are like, that you wouldn't blink an eye if it was actually in the show, but just it wasn't. So they didn't use this particular one.
Oh, actually, shout out I want to make out to Roger Harkov, who helped us track down a lot of the early pre-production. Some of the stuff for Mospita actually almost got lost when one of the licensees, MI, went out of business. And to his credit, he tracked it down and he helped verify the provenance of all those pre-production designs. So, big thank you to him for helping out.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we tried to tell a little bit of the story of how that went down in the
Yeah.
book too.
Those are the two upcoming books that I think all the fans going to be very excited about. We are talking about the possibility of a fourth book, with anything that's not from the original series, and that will be something that we're gonna probably start working on this year. Uh, Hopefully, we can gather all the materials, and we can have a fourth book in the series. And I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, and in fact, that's where the Sentinels comes in. There's an extraordinary amount of material and energy that went into it, and unfortunately, the entirety of the series didn't come to fruition. So I wanted to bring up you also had other projects in the works.
Last year, we started working on some Robotech merch. If you have seen the pins, like this one that I have is like the Mars base one from Ospita. There's actually a Jupiter base one too. That goes with it. We got the Macross emblem, which is like a really really cool effect to it. Like you see, it's like it shines with the clear red, with the shimmering effect going on, and it's like a two-tone metallic pin. So it's like a full metal pin, really like thick and nice, with a beveled edge. This is like a brushed silver effect, and then this is like a almost like Onyx black effect to it. So like this is like a really nice Macross pin. There is the Minmay doll pin, which I'm having so much fun designing this one. And you can see that this packaging looks like the old school model kit packaging, and it's kind of like resembling that with the artwork and everything on it. We did a whole bunch of the VF fighter pins with all the variants. This is like the 1A, and then this is the 1J, and then like the Max 1J, and then the red one, then of course Roy Fokker one, and these are all the pins that are available at udonpins.com. So we registered a website called udonpins.com, and it's basically our merch portal from the Udon website. These are limited edition. They're not available in stores. It's only available through us. One of the other cool things, as we were talking about Matchbox, like we want to pay tribute to the Matchbox figures. So we did these like super cool, nice, big pins, which is like action figure size. Like the Roy Fokker here, as you can see, it is like 6 inches tall. So these come in really cool clamshells that is, you can open and close it again. Collector friendly packaging, so you can take it out and admire it, like look at it, and you can put it back in that protective case without damaging it. We did brand new card art for this project, basically using the design sheets as a base, and we created new artwork for this to resemble the original Robotech Matchbox action figure look. And the pins are super detailedly printed and filled. There's a lot of screen printing on this to resemble, to recreate that anime cell look to this. And at the back, we even recreated the original text from the action figure. This is the exact same text as it was like many years ago in the action figure packaging, and we put all these other things on it. So we have Roy here, and then we made Minmay, and then there is Lisa, and of course there is Rick Hunter. So these are limited edition pins of, I think, like 350 units. We only made 350 of each of them, and so get them while they're still in stock. And after these, we are actually working on some new merchandise right now. to be released like later on, most likely debuting at Anime Expo Online, as well as like San Diego Online. Like, too bad that we cannot go back to cons this year, but the virtual cons are as good, and there will be some new exclusive products coming up. And we're also planning on a very ambitious Macross pin project that will most likely be Udon's first Kickstarter project, and that will be announced very soon.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to share with the fans? Here for WonderCon, virtual WonderCon.
Well, I hope very soon we will be able to meet in person, and then then we can geek out about all things Robotech, Macross, Mosquito, Southern Cross, all sorts of things in person together. And I'm looking forward to talking with the fans all the time. But in the meantime, like we can definitely like keep in touch. We have a Udon Facebook official Facebook group that I'm very active there. We have also a Udon Discord channel that we get that we talk to people there as well and share our love of all sorts of projects that we're doing, and some people actually give us ideas and we talk about things. So there's a community there, and we are always there to listen. We're always there to to talk to the fans and see what we can do as fans ourselves, to bring exciting projects out there to everyone. Matt?
All right, thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Tommy. I want to update you all now on our new line of miniatures from Kids Logic. These miniatures are in 1/285 scale, and you can order the Battloid, the Fighter, and the Guardian mode right now from our friends at kidslogic.toys. Kids Logic has also launched a new line of 1/6 scale statues, starting with the Dana Sterling figure. This statue is now available for pre-order via kidslogic.toys. For you action figure fans, our friends at Toynami have released a new line of action figures. Wave 1 is already out, and Wave 2 will be arriving later this spring. Speaking of action figures, we're pleased to announce a new license, Mep Toys. Mep Toys has released a 6-inch Breetai figure that's now shipping from Robotech.com. We also have a new line of 6-inch action figures from Kit's Concept, starting with the Lin Min Mei and Rick Hunter figures. These are joined by a Lin Min Mei variant action figure, and all three are now shipping. Kit's Concept is also following up with a brand new Lisa Hayes action figure that's now shipping from Robotech.com. And in 2021, Kit's Concept will be releasing a Dana Sterling and Roy Fokker action figures. You can pre-order these right now at kidsconcept.com. And for you transforming toy fans, Toynami is releasing its 1/100 scale retro fully transformable VF1 line, which will be released in the spring of 2021, starting with the Hikaru, followed by the Roy Fokker. You can order these right now from Robotech.com. Our friends at Kit's Concept are also involved in the transforming toy world with their new line of 172 fully transformable VF1s, starting with the Skull Leader and followed by the VF1J. Both of these transforming toys can be ordered at Robotech.com. We also have a new line of high-end 1/12 scale dioramas, starting with the VF1J cockpit. This will be followed by a 1/12 scale Skull Leader cockpit. The Skull Leader cockpit will also come with a Roy Fokker statue, and you can order both of these items from kidslogic.toys. Now it is a great time to talk about the Robotech live-action film set up over at Sony Pictures. We have two amazing producers, Gianni Nunari and Mark Canton. They have a long and successful track record in Hollywood. Then, in 2017, Sony announced that co-writer of the 2017 Wonder Woman film, Jason Fuchs, will be attached to write the screenplay for the live-action Robotech film. But we want to take a moment to explore the relationship between Sony Pictures and Harmony Gold moving forward. Sony Pictures has granted Harmony Gold clearance to continue to create and license new animated Robotech merchandise. Sony and Harmony Gold are expanding their partnership for Robotech over the next several years. And in the fall of 2019, part of this expansion was revealed when it was announced that Robotech has joined the Funimation family. Robotech the series, Robotech the Shadow Chronicles, and Robotech the Sentinels will join the Funimation catalog. The titles will arrive as part of an expansive agreement that includes all rights to the franchise, including home entertainment and merchandising opportunities. Colin Decker, general manager of Funimation, had this to say, quote, "Robotech is a beloved and foundational series for fans around the world. We are so proud and excited to connect this iconic series with a million more fans through Funimation. And with our partnership with Sony growing, it allows both Harmony Gold and Funimation to create and improve and license new animated Robotech merchandise. Both Harmony Gold and Funimation are currently renewing most of the current merchandising agreements beyond 2021. The unique partnership will allow both companies to manage and develop the franchise worldwide, excluding Japan, for existing audiences. And Harmony Gold and Funimation are exploring ways to introduce the Robotech franchise to new audiences. And we will be revealing more about this unique partnership in the spring of 2021 via a series of streams on Twitch TV. Join us starting March 29th at twitch.tv/wasabeanime to find out more. We hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all at San Diego Comic-Con.